Earnest, ardent in spirit and speech. Earthenware, anything made of clay and baked in a kiln or dried in the sun. Eatable, edible. Ebullient, showing enthusiasm or exhilaration of feeling. Eccentric, peculiar. Eccentricity, idiosyncrasy. Eclipse, the obstruction of a heavenly body by its entering into the shadow of another body. Economize, to spend sparingly. Ecstasy, rapturous excitement or exultation. Ecstatic, enraptured. Edible, suitable to be eaten. Edict, that which is uttered or proclaimed by authority as a rule of action. Edify, to build up or strengthen, especially in morals or religion. Editorial, an article in a periodical written by the editor and published as an official argument. Educe, to draw out. Efface, to obliterate. Effect, a consequence. Effective, fit for a destined purpose. Effectual, efficient. Effeminacy, womanishness. Effeminate, having womanish traits or qualities. Effervesce, to bubble up. Effervescent, giving off bubbles of gas. Effete, exhausted as having performed its functions. Efficacious, effective. Efficacy, the power to produce an intended effect as shown in the production of it. Efficiency, the state of possessing adequate skill or knowledge for the performance of a duty. Efficient, having and exercising the power to produce effects or results. Efflorescence, the state of being flowery or a flowery appearance. Efflorescent, opening in flower. Effluvium, a noxious or ill-smelling exhalation from decaying or putrefying matter. Effrontery, unblushing impudence. Effulgence, splendor. Effuse, to pour forth. Effusion, an outpouring. Egoism, the theory that places man's chief good in the completeness of self. Egoist, one who advocates or practices egoism. Egotism, self-conceit. Egotist, one given to self-mention or who is constantly telling of his own views and experiences. Egregious, extreme. Egress, any place of exit. Eject, to expel. Elapse, to quietly terminate, said of time. Elasticity, that property of matter by which a body tends to return to a former shape after being changed. Electrolysis, the process of decomposing a chemical compound by the passage of an electric current. Electrotype, a metallic copy of any surface, as a coin. Elegy, a lyric poem lamenting the dead. Element, a component or essential part. Elicit, to educe or extract gradually or without violence. Eligible, qualified for selection. Eliminate, to separate and cast aside. Elizabethan, relating to Elizabeth, Queen of England, or to her era. Elocution, the art of correct intonation, inflection, and gesture in public speaking or reading. Eloquent, having the ability to express emotion or feeling in lofty and impassioned speech. Elucidate, to bring out more clearly the facts concerning. Elude, to evade the search or pursuit of by dexterity or artifice. Illusion, evasion. Emaciate, to waste away in flesh. Emanate, to flow forth or proceed as from some source. Emancipate, to release from bondage. Embargo, authoritative stoppage of foreign commerce or of any special trade. Embark, to make a beginning in some occupation or scheme. Embarrass, to render flustered or agitated. Embellish, to make beautiful or elegant by adding attractive or ornamental features. Embezzle, to misappropriate secretly. Emblazon, to set forth publicly or in glowing terms. Emblem, a symbol. Embody, to express, formulate, or exemplify in a concrete, compact, or visible form. Embolden, to give courage to. Embolism, an obstruction or plugging up of an artery or other blood vessel. Embroil, to involve in dissension or strife. Emerge, to come into view or into existence. Emergence, a coming into view. Emergent, coming into view. Emeritus, retired from active service but retained to an honorary position. Emigrant, one who moves from place to settle in another. Emigrate, to go from one country, state, or region for the purpose of settling or residing in another. Eminence, an elevated position with respect to rank, place, character, condition, etc. Eminent, high in station, merit, or esteem. Emit, to send or give out. Emphasis, any special impressiveness added to an utterance or act or stress laid upon some word. Emphasize, to articulate or enunciate with special impressiveness upon a word or a group of words. Emphatic, spoken with any special impressiveness laid upon an act, word, or set of words. Employee, one who works for wages or a salary. Employer, one who uses or engages the services of other persons for pay. Emporium, a bazaar or shop. Empower, to delegate authority to. Emulate, to imitate with intent to equal or surpass. Enact, to make into law, as by legislative act. Enamor, to inspire with ardent love. Encamp, to pitch tents for a resting place. Encomium, a formal or discriminating expression of praise. Encompass, to encircle. Encore, the call for a repetition as some part of a play or performance. Encourage, to inspire with courage, hope, or strength of mind. Encroach, to invade partially or insidiously and appropriate the possessions of another. Encumber, to impede with obstacles. Encyclical, intended for general circulation. Encyclopedia, a work containing information on subjects or exhaustive of one subject. Endanger, to expose to peril. Endear, to cause to be loved. Endemic, peculiar to some specific country or people. Endue, to endow with some quality, gift, or grace, usually spiritual. Endurable, tolerable. Endurance, the ability to suffer pain, distress, hardship, or stress of any kind without succumbing. Energetic, working vigorously. Enervate, to render ineffective or inoperative. Enfeeble, to debilitate. Enfranchise, to endow with a privilege, especially with the right to vote. Engender, to produce. Engrave, to cut or carve in or upon some surface. Engross, to occupy completely. Enhance, to intensify. Enigma, a riddle. Enjoin, to command. Enkindle, to set on fire. Enlighten, to cause to see clearly. Enlist, to enter voluntarily the military service by formal enrollment. Enmity, hatred. ennoble, to dignify. Enormity, immensity. Enormous, gigantic. Enrage, to infuriate. Enrapture, to delight extravagantly or intensely. Enshrine, to keep sacred. Ensnare, to entrap. Entail, to involve, necessitate. Entangle, to involve in difficulties, confusion, or complications. Enthrall, to bring or hold under any overmastering influence. Enthrone, to invest with sovereign power. Enthuse, to yield to or display intense and rapturous feeling. Enthusiastic, full of zeal and fervor. Entirety, a complete thing. Entomology, the branch of zoology that treats of insects. Entrails, the internal parts of an animal. Entreaty, an earnest request. Entree, the act of entering. Entrench, to fortify or protect, as with a trench or ditch and wall. Entwine, to interweave. Enumerate, to name one by one. Epic, a poem celebrating in formal verse the mythical achievements of great personages, heroes, etc. Epicure, one who cultivates a delicate taste for eating and drinking. Epicurean, indulging, ministering, or pertaining to daintiness of appetite. Epicycle, a circle that rolls upon the external or internal circumference of another circle. Epicycloid, a curve traced by a point on the circumference of a circle, which rolls upon another circle. Epidemic, widespread occurrence of a disease in a certain region. Epidermis, the outer skin. Epigram, a pithy phrasing of a shrewd observation. Epilogue, the close of a narrative or dramatic poem. Epiphany, any appearance or bodily manifestation of a deity. Episode, an incident or story in a literary work, separable from yet growing out of it. Epitaph, an inscription on a tomb or monument in honor or in memory of the dead. Epithet, word used adjectively to describe some quality or attribute of its objects, as in Father Aeneas. Epitome, a simplified representation. Epizootic, prevailing among animals. Epoch, an interval of time memorable for extraordinary events. Epode, a species of lyric poems. Equalize, to render uniform. Equanimity, evenness of mind or temper. Equestrian, pertaining to horses or horsemanship. Equilibrium, a state of balance. Equitable, characterized by fairness. Equity, fairness or impartiality. Equivalent, equal in value, force, meaning, or the like. Equivocal, ambiguous. Equivocate, to use words of double meaning. Eradicate, to destroy thoroughly. Errant, roving or wandering, as in search of adventure or opportunity for gallant needs. Erratic, irregular. Erroneous, incorrect. Erudite, very learned. Erudition, extensive knowledge of literature, history, language, etc. Eschew, to keep clear of. Espy, to keep close watch. Esquire, a title of dignity, office, or courtesy. Essence, that which makes a thing to be what it is. Aesthetic, pertaining to beauty, taste, or the fine arts. Estimable, worthy of respect. Estrange, to alienate. Estuary, a wide lower part of a tidal river. Etc., and so forth. Eugenic, relating to the development and improvement of race. Eulogize, to speak or write a laudation of a person's life or character. Eulogy, a spoken or written laudation of a person's life or character. Euphemism, a figure of speech by which a phrase less offensive is substituted. Euphonious, characterized by agreeableness of sound. Euphony, agreeableness of sound. Eureka, I have found it. Evade, to avoid by artifice. Evanesce, to vanish gradually. Evanescent, fleeting. Evangelical, seeking the conversion of sinners. Evangelist, a preacher who goes from place to place holding services. Evasion, escape. Eventual, ultimate. Avert, to turn inside out. Evict, to dispossess pursuant to judicial decree. Evidential, indicative. Evince, to make manifest or evident. Evoke, to call or summon forth. Evolution, development or growth. Evolve, to unfold or expand. Exacerbate, to make more sharp, severe, or virulent. Exaggerate, to overstate. Exasperate, to excite great anger in. Excavate, to remove by digging or scooping out. Exceed, to go beyond, as in measure, quality, value, action, power, skill, etc. Excel, to be superior or distinguished. Excellence, possession of eminently or unusually good qualities. Excellency, a title of honor bestowed upon various high officials. Excellent, possessing distinguished merit. Excerpt, an extract or selection from written or printed matter. Excess, that which passes the ordinary, proper, or required limit, measure, or experience. Excitable, nervously high-strung. Excitation, intensified emotion or action. Exclamation, an abrupt or emphatic expression of thought or of feeling. Exclude, to shut out purposely or forcibly. Exclusion, non-admission. Excrescence, any unnatural addition, outgrowth, or development. Excretion, the getting rid of waste matter. Excruciate, to inflict severe pain or agony upon. Excursion, a journey. Excusable, justifiable. Execrable, abominable. Execration, an accursed thing. Executor, a person nominated by the will of another to execute the will. Exegesis, biblical exposition or interpretation. Exemplar, a model, pattern, or original to be copied or imitated. Exemplary, fitted to serve as a model or example worthy of imitation. Exemplify, to show by example. Exempt, free, clear, or released as from some liability or restriction affecting others. Exert, to make an effort. Exhale, to breathe forth. Exhaust, to empty by draining off the contents. Exhaustible, causing or tending to cause exhaustion. Exhaustion, deprivation of strength or energy. Exhaustive, thorough and complete in execution. Exhilarate, to fill with high or cheerful spirits. Exhume, to dig out of the earth, one has been buried. Exigency, a critical period or condition. Exigent, urgent. Existence, possession or continuance of being. Exit, a way or passage out. Exodus, a going forth or departure from a place or country, especially of many people. Exonerate, to relieve or vindicate from accusation, imputation, or blame. Exorbitance, extravagance or enormity. Exorbitant, going beyond usual and proper limits. Exorcise, to cast or drive out by religious or magical means. Exotic, foreign. Expand, to increase in range or scope. Expanse, a continuous area or stretch. Expansion, increase of amount, size, scope, or the like. Expatriate, to drive from one's own country. Expect, to look forward to as certain or probable. Expectancy, the act or state of looking forward to as certain or probable. Expectorate, to cough up and spit forth. Expediency, fitness to meet the requirements of a particular case. Expedient, contributing to personal advantage. Expedite, to hasten the movement or progress of. Expeditious, speedy. Expend, to spend. Expense, the laying out or expending of money or other resources as time or strength. Expiate, to make satisfaction or amends for. Explicate, to clear from involvement. Explicit, definite. Explode, to cause to burst in pieces by force from within. Explosion, a sudden and violent outbreak. Explosive, pertaining to a sudden and violent outbreak. Exposition, formal presentation. Expository, pertaining to a formal presentation. Expostulate, to discuss. Exposure, an open situation or position in relation to the sun, elements, or points of the compass. Expressive, full of meaning. Expulsion, forcible ejection. Extant, still existing and known. Extemporaneous, done or made without much or any preparation. Extempore, without studied or special preparation. Extensible, capable of being thrust out. Extension, a reaching or stretching out as in space, time, or scope. Extensive, extended widely in space, time, or scope. Extensor, a muscle that causes extension. Extenuate, to diminish the gravity or importance of. Exterior, that which is outside. External, anything relating or belonging to the outside. Extinct, being no longer in existence. Extinguish, to render extinct. Extol, to praise in the highest terms. Extort, to obtain by violence, threats, compulsion, or the subjection of another to some necessity. Extortion, the practice of obtaining by violence or compulsion. Extradite, to surrender the custody of. Extradition, the surrender by a government of a person accused of crime to the justice of another government. Extrajudicial, happening out of court. Extraneous, having no essential relation to a subject. Extraordinary, unusual. Extravagance, undue expenditure of money. Extravagant, needlessly free or lavish in expenditure. Extremist, one who supports extreme measures or holds extreme views. Extremity, the utmost point, side, or border, or that farthest removed from a mean position. Extricate, disentangle. Extrude, to drive out or away. Exuberance, rich supply. Exuberant, marked by great plentifulness. Fabricate,